me share it. I will put it in the list of interesting things in Dharmasagar. There's a file that is called interesting
things. Okay.
Yes, it's going to be there. Okay. So where was that? Okay, here and yes. Okay. Yeah, I just put it there now. Can you see it?
In the exercises or no?
No, in interesting things.
Oh, interesting things. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, and that can be also something that we did not do yet, is actually to translate on the basis of a translation that exists. So
sorry,
it's like we already have.
What
you're
did
here?
No, I didn't understand what you said. I was looking at it. Tell again, please.
Can you repeat?
Yes. No, I was saying that it would be interesting to see how we can translate on the basis of another existing translation.
Okay. English or?
This one is in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want us to directly make the translation out of this translation?
First, we go together. So
Media bigness.
Now you showed already. We will kind of compare, or we will just follow what you tell us.
No, I will also look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say here, what I get is slightly different. It's like this and like that.
This one is it's by verse, and well, it has the three. It's short one. Yes, it's short one.
Yes.
Maybe we. Are you doing the doc or not?
Yes, I'm going to create a document. Yes. Translation exercise. Okay.
You remember that expression that we were speaking the other day about the other side, going to the other side?
About the other side. Yes, yes.
Because we're saying there was no, because sometimes people might translate that by transcendence. And I was looking at the conference that the Karmapa gave. And they actually put he actually speaks about the other shore, which is the margem, that is very used.
Yes, okay.
Outra margem. It's a very common poetic thing, right? Not even when the reference to death, when you go to the other side, to the other margem, it's a bit like going through that travel to another world. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
in
yes,
Buddhist
yeah.
context is very common. Yeah, for nirvana to say the other shore.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So this is the
So this is the English, and I'm going to make some comments in there from reading the Tibetan, or maybe I correct it. I make it into more literal translation. So you see here, tra yang lamu, yang jian ma la, tu pi tu su jie ba. So here it is, verses praise to Sarasvati, the goddess of melodious sound. Trayang Lamos. Trayang. Let me check in the dictionary what it says. Trayang melodious. Yeah. It's the goddess of melodies. Yeah, so Tizujeba here is verse. Then Tebe Tizujeba is verses of praise to Yangjiama, the goddess of melodies. Or you could put melodious speech, but no, yeah. Melodious speech because dra means sound, but it also means grammar and the way to arrange the sounds of human communication.
what is the word that means grammar?
Dra.
Oh.
It's like if you look at it in the dictionary. Yeah, you have here linguistics and sound. Language. Sanskrit grammar. Telexu Kyrchi, yes. Telexu Kyrchik. May come. Excellent, and also may it become Tewa, happiness and Telexu Kyrchik.
So you do not keep the om that they kept there.
Ah, yes, it is there, yes. Yes. And here the translator made the choice of making one word of delek. Delek in one word that they translated as goodness. And then I took the choice of separating into two words. Happiness, dewa, lekpa, excellence. Okay. So I think for this, it's better that we go in one sentence for you to understand how the sentence is structured.
Maybe you put a different color or erase the original one.
No, I'm going to keep the original because it gives good idea of.
Oh, you mean?
I'm going to put I'm going to put in different color. My one I'm going to
I can
put in
your text in different color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You want another color?
That's fine. Whatever. Okay. So here choosing cargo. So here, like one cloud decoratively lettuce with lighting. Oh. So here what it says is that yeah, so this first verse is comparing Sarasvati to a cloud. And a cloud is Chuzin.
Oh, okay.
Chuzin. Chuzin is the one that holds water.
Yes, I see. It's fun.
Chuzun. Yeah. So this part of this metaphor has been lost in the translation.
What do you mean has been lost?
Because in the translation we have like a white cloud.
Yes, but the word cloud in Tibetan is cloud. That's two words.
No. In Tibetan it's timba.
Oh.
Here it is metaphor.
Oh, okay. Maybe you don't need to put you because you have a new. Do you? He has put a new. No.
Let me try to see. Chen is to have. You have.
No, it's because the translator put a new you in the second line.
Yes, you're
the subject.
With this. Yeah, you told us. Yes, okay, yeah, that's true. So if we take both lines in account, yes. So in this case, I can put you are the lady that the captivating goddess captivates the minds like who is like what adorns the sky, the holder of water, the white holder of water, that is locked in Trojan. Net of a how do you say girlanda in English?
Garland.
Garland of lightnings.
When you say net, it's
like
it's
net. Look what is here.
Yeah.
A net. Like the arañas.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a net. So yeah, the author is kind of imagining that he's saying that Sarasvati is like an ornament to the sky. So the sky must have some value and some symbolism. And in nature, the ornament of the sky is the clouds. And so yes, the holders of the white holder of water. And yeah, since when there's a storm, then there are the lightning coming down of clouds. And then he puts that in the form of like garlands of lightnings around it. Does it make sense now?
Okay, we can imagine the
idea.
The image, yeah.
And all the rest balanced in the center of youthful Gandharvas, your charming chanting. Come here now. This is at other passages.
This is the last two lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we can do it like that actually.
Gandharvas, this I don't like. This
You don't like Gandharvas?
do you remember Pema Sharab talking about the Gandharvas? Were you there in that retreat where Pema Sharab talked about Gandharvas?
No, I don't remember.
He said that some of them were just get to know the context of people, and then they were quite nasty. And they could influence people and be around. Oh God, it was very
Yeah, but these ones here, usually in poetry, when you talk about Gandharvas, it's more like musicians.
Okay.
The gods' musicians. Okay. Chanting one in the middle of the Gandharva ladies. Nacho.
You are there in chanting one, would be?
Yes. Chanting one in the middle of the Gandharva ladies. Yeah, and here the reason why we are talking about Gandharvas is because Sarasvati is a musician. Mm-hmm. She's playing a veena. Yeah, we see that balanced somewhere has been added by the translator. I'm not good enough in English to judge whether it has poetic effect or not, and if it's beautiful or not. But what I can see is that it's not in the Tibetan.
But is there a word that might express that she's in a kind of a posture where she maintains a kind of posture or not?
No.
Because this idea of the balance may be because in some situations, like when we say in the treasure of blessings, where you have the yogini like dancing or in one leg, so there's some
no, there's nothing of it. No.
Okay.
Yes. Come here now. This is okay. Ta and tanda. Tu is on our side. Jön is sho. Goddess. Rinite Wilhelmus. I have.
Pois. Vinte.
Since long time.
I think it's break time now.
Yes, break.
Yeah. Okay. 10 minutes or?
Yes.
Yeah.
See in 10 minutes.
Okay. 10 minutes.
Ok. Então, Catarina, parece que eu estava conversando com Dani aqui, parece que não ficou muito claro o que está falando. Parece que
Onde?
está ficando... Então, nesse primeiro verso, fica todo mundo confuso. Parece que
não,
tem
aqui,
muitas informações que são juntadas assim, né?
não,
You,
quer dizer,
you
eu
are
acho
the
que
lady.
a gente percebe, aqui a estrutura do inglês é que não está muito, aqui o who is like, who is like what, é que não está muito correto em inglês, mas nós percebemos o que é que...
Não, para mim, eu não vejo problema gramatical. O que eu vejo problema é que you are the lady that captivates the mind, who is like what adorns the sky. Aí a gente tem a the white holder of the water, que é o que ela é como, e aí depois a gente tem mais uma coisa para holder of the water, that has the net of garland of lightnings. E aí o Druptin estava me explicando que esse net of garland of lightnings era como tá fazendo uma metáfora para a nuvem, mas ao mesmo tempo é uma metáfora para as joias dela. E isso não está claro aqui.
Não, para as joias dela, sim, também não. Eu
Não,
acho que...
não é algo que vai entrar no texto, mas eu falei para ele que eu não consigo entender o que net of a garland of lightning seria uma metáfora para isso, não chega nem perto. Eu não consigo entender o que é net of garland.
Decorada, well,
Que seja uma rede de cordões ou uma rede de
mas
grinaldas.
quer dizer, eu acho que a ideia daquilo que ela terá como adornos está misturado com a própria nuvem, cria uma certa nuvem, portanto, quer dizer, não, uma coisa está na outra, não há divisão, não é? Porque o próprio tradutor diz que decorativamente, como uma nuvem decorativamente, létice, por acaso, o létice em inglês...
Látice entra como net, que é entrelaçada.
Entrelaçado, o entrelaçado, sim, o létice é aquele, pois, é aquele trabalho de entretecimento, entretecer, sim.
So, for the net of garlands of lightnings, in mandalas, when you have the descriptions, you have Jawa, Drache. So it is this part here. If you see, there's this kind of many garlands of many rosaries of things that are crossing each other in many places. And we see here, down here, something that is more clear. And so that is the net. So it's like
Sim.
there are some, I know that there are some jewels that women wear, I think traditionally in India, that are also like garlands that are crossing and they kind of put around the waist or I don't know, something like that. So the net of garland of lightnings is something like that.
Yeah,
so that's on the part of the meaning, what Tsongkhapa wants to praise Sarasvati for is that she's wearing something like that. So this kind of garlands, this kind of jewelry she's wearing. And the way that he puts it on the cloud is that he's imagining that the cloud, usually it gives lightnings, and he says, it's like if we put these kind of garlands that are crossed, but made of lightnings, which the lightnings come from the cloud.
Yes.
So that's the idea. And the reason why Tsongkhapa reached the cloud is because first he's saying, Sarasvati, you're a beautiful lady. And this beautiful lady is rendered in Tibetan as you, how did I put it? You captivate the minds, yitoma. Yitoma means if someone captivates the mind of someone else, it's because of the beauty, at least in this context. So it means that, I'm muted, yeah. So my voice
No, but I was
yes.
hearing through
Through me,
I
through
was
mine.
Okay.
It's
So
okay.
then
That's
maybe
okay.
we continue like that.
Yeah. But now
Yeah.
if you want to speak.
Yes. Yeah. So I was saying that.
No, I heard you everything that you said.
Okay. Yeah. So Tsongkhapa is telling to Sarasvati, you're a beautiful lady. So in the way that people say it is like not looking at the beauty itself, but looking at the effects that this beauty has on the one who is looking at. That's why we say that you captivate the minds simply. Yeah. So that's another way of saying you're beautiful. And then besides that, he says, you're like the, how do you say, jewelry of the sky. Mm-hmm. And so and then he continues by creating this idea of the jewelry of the sky. And so he says, not any kind of a cloud, but the white one that brings the rain, that gives some result, the white clouds that bring the rain. And so this is another kind of metaphor he brings in. And then he says, well, in the same way that you are adorned with all the jewelry, in my metaphor, I see you as if you were adorned by a garland, like a net of kind of garlands where each bead would be one lightning. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, yeah, he's bringing all of this into 4 lines. So yeah, so when you try to translate it, maybe if you see that it's making something very confused, etc., just knowing what image Tsongkhapa had in mind and what a Tibetan reader can get from that, what I just explained, then you can try to kind of convey that instead of making a literal translation if it's too confused. I think that's what the English tried to do. And they decided that keeping Chujin, so the holder of water, or we can say water-bearing cloud, or I don't know, it doesn't sound too good either.
The word jin is the holder.
Jin is to hold.
It's just hold, just
that
hold,
contains.
Or can be.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is to hold, but in the context of a cloud, it's a cloud that contains rain. It's not just a cloud that will vanish, but it will bring something beneficial. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have this Chujin. But Chujin is kind of a general metaphor for clouds also. So yes. And then not only, yes, so he kind of finishes his metaphor about the clouds and then the lightnings, etc. And then he says, you are, when he says you're in the center of all the youthful Gandharva ladies, Nachung, which means that to be in the center is to be the most important, the one with the most qualities. So what he's saying here is that you're actually the most beautiful out of all these Gandharvas, and Gandharvas are known to be very beautiful, very enticing, and musicians, etc. So he's saying you're even more beautiful than all these Gandharva young ladies. Mm-hmm. That's what he's saying, through saying something like that, yeah.
The word in Tibetan for ladies,
here it is Machung.
Machung, and would be like a young woman. What is the literal translation of that?
Yeah, let's see in the dictionary.
Oh, yeah, because that is translated to Portuguese frequently as senhora, which is absolutely wrong. I hate to say senhora anywhere because senhora is an old lady.
No, but it's sometimes they translate in the prayers like jovem.
Yeah, but it's frequent to find senhora. But I think I would write jovens.
Yes,
jovens mulheres.
Sim, eles até utilizam jovem. E não, eu acho que não utilizam rapariga, porque nós não sei como é que é o brasileiro, mas nós temos rapariga, e quando tu dizes rapariga, normalmente há esse elemento de juventude. A jovem também, não é?
Não, rapariga no Brasil é uma coisa completamente diferente.
É uma rapariga.
Rapariga é um xingamento no Brasil.
Ah, é?
É.
Não, aqui por acaso não, e é mesmo um tratamento.
Aqui eu sei, sim. E as pessoas ficam assustadas quando chegam aqui e chamam elas de rapariga.
Yeah, so maybe changing the order of this lesson that in the middle of Gandharva, young ladies, you're the enchanting one. That kind of gives more the idea that she's in the middle of them and she's the one that is the best. But yeah.
And in the next sentence?
Yes, and so here, Tsongkhapa is a monk. So he cannot be in love with someone. But he's kind of using the codes of beautiful lady, etc., to convey the meaning that he has devotions to her since a long time.
And also the translator, he ignored since a long time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think it is the ever something, but yeah, it's kind of strange the way he did. Yeah, it looks like he said that she's a goddess that has always been kind and always been loving. But it's not what the Tibetan says.
Yes, they probably thought it was
yeah, maybe they felt like
inappropriate.
Yes. Yeah, but it's poem. There's no.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Especially when one has the idea behind that he's talking about devotion. Or we could say, please come here. Right now. Because ta is like insisting. It's like Tasho, come now, come right now. So again, I'm going to put together the parts of the sentence. And it looks like this come right now is a synonymous kind of, it's a poetic rendering of the invitation of deities that you find in sadhanas. Looks a little bit like that.
But again, it's a very, very simple. It's a very simple thing. It's not sophisticated.
Sophisticated. Please come here right now. Yes, no.
No,
since a long time.
What you were saying, the language very simple. I mean, come here
Yes.
right now. I come
Yes,
here
yes.
because it's
Yes.
it's a very normal expression, right?
Yes, yes. It is normal expression, but at the same time, it's, yeah, what I meant, it reminds me of the invitation in the sadhanas, but in other contexts, in a poetic context. But maybe that's just me, that's extrapolating, because I've been in Druchens and sadhanas all these years. So maybe it's just my ramblings. And yes, yes. So coming back to the first 4 lines, when I said you are something and then with a full stop, in the Tibetan, it's kind of all integrated in the same verse, more like what the English has done. He didn't make 4 sentences. So let me put. And we see here that it borrows the codes of yeah, like in descriptions of deities. You have, for example, arms are like this, legs are like that, hair this, etc., but without any verb and without any full sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And so here it looks like we're talking about only the eyes. Then after we're talking about the hair. Here's the hair. And then here's the position. And then something. And then a request to her. Face of a lotus, on your face of a lotus. Yeah. Lotus face. Yeah, I think, yeah, that's the best. Lotus face. You're the bohemian. And piece of eyes move about. Yeah. And so here he's making a parallel, saying that your face is like a lotus, but without using is like your lotus face. And then he does the same thing with Bongwei Mik. So you see Pemei Shin and Bongwei Mik. So it's like your bee eyes. Just face your bee eyes. Move about your bin.
So there's no honey.
No.
And B is pu.
Bon moi.
Bon moi.
Bon moi. Yes. Bon moi. Where's dictionary? Here. Bon moi. B. Actually, in the Tibetan, it's kind of, there's here, the translator decided to use move as the verb for the sentence. But in Tibetan, there's no sentence at all. Here, yo is moving. Yoden that is moving, that possessive movement. And this is actually qualifying bees. So the bees that are moving of your mouth, of your eyes.
But it's strange that there's no idea behind of the sweetness, because that's why he probably put honey, because you're not saying that the eyes you're not mentioning the bees just because of the bees. You're mentioning the bees because it's like honey. The eyes are sweet.
I remember one thing about the video that me and Drupchen was seeing that involves bees and honey. That's very funny. A Tibetan wanted to write a letter to a girlfriend, and then he asked Rinpoche if it was correct, and he started the letter saying, "My dear bee shit," because to him, honey was bee shit. It is very obvious to him. So he writes bee shit is the same. I think maybe it's kind of this. For then, maybe it's there is
it's
something
enough
there
to
in
say
bees
it's enough
itself
to
that's
say
already
bees.
good. Honey is a bee shit, so he's not going to write that.
Exactly. Okay. But so we have here a cultural
yes, it's cultural
issue, a cultural issue, because for us to say bees, it's what?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything. It's
doesn't
not a compliment.
Say anything. Yeah. It's not a compliment. What about the eyes being bees?
Yeah. Bee shit. Dear bee shit.
Actually, I think that here on Bonwa is, in the ancient Latin rhetoric, you have this lyukoma. I don't know how to say in English.
No.
Lyukoma.
No. Sim, sim, o lugar comum.
Lugar
sim.
comum?
É um lugar comum, é um lugar comum.
É lugar comum?
Yes, so it's kind of general ideas that everyone knows, and that is too common to make any effort usually, but people still use it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't remember any at the moment, but for Indians, bees has this kind of mesmerizing quality, and they were moving all the time. So your attention was always captured by it. And so what Tsongkhapa is telling here, he's using this commonplace of India to qualify the eyes.
So it's another idea. It's
yes,
not
another
the sweetness.
Idea. It's
another idea. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, I don't remember at all because I never really learned about poetry, but it has to do also with the fact that bees were completely black in India.
Oh.
So something that moves, that is small, that is black, that is a bee. And on the body, human body, it's an eye.
Okay.
And also the bee eyes are very black and big, just like the goddess, maybe something like that, or not?
And the eyes themselves.
The eyes of the bees, no.
No, I don't think so. I think it's the bee itself.
The bee itself.
Yes. The bee itself that is black. Yeah.
Yes.
Here, usually bees are not black like that. So yeah, maybe something it's really weird here on your face, your eyes, like bees that move. That move about, just like the eyes, you never know where it's going, where the gaze is going. Something happens in cartoons. Something happens in cartoons. I don't know what she has on Rebetsena in the middle. What's in Sarasvati?
As mechas de cabelo, não é?
No, she doesn't have anything special on the top of her. It's like Chinrizi, who has Amitabha, but she doesn't have something special. No, okay.
But at least what he wrote, it's like the tips of your hair is this part, not
Yes. Yeah. There could have been another reading, like if there was, she had some special thing on top of her head, but it's not the case. So it's better to come back to the literal way of understanding, just like he translated. Did black locks, okay. Ralba. Until Rabetzenos. Yes. Does she have Ralba? I think Ralba can be understood not only as locks, but generally speaking for hair. Locks of hair.
Locks of hair.
Locks of hair. Let me see in the dictionary here.
Yeah, and these locks, I guess, is not the
braids. Yeah.
Yeah, the braids. Yeah, of the yogis. It's like madeixas, something like that.
Yes. Okay. Tips of dim black locks glistening with brilliant bristles. So here, literally, what he says is there is white light at the tips of your dark blue locks of hair or something like that. Tinting is dark blue. It's not just black. Let me confirm here. Yes, dark blue sapphire, dark blue. White. Sorry, I wrote white lighter tips. So actually, the English has kept some of the poetic quality that you find in Tibetan, and I have just ignored that altogether to make a literal translation.
But probably this white light means something that is brilliant or not. Glistening for brilliant.
I don't really know. I don't really know. I think that that's what the translator imagined. But I think it's like if you put the hair of someone that is shiny in the sun, then you'll have the reflection of the sky, of the sun, which is white. So it looks like the hair is white also.
Yes, it's apparently it seems an effect.
Yeah, light effect of. Moist. Okay. Okay, let's see if it has a translation as a whole. Not really. I think that's the mesmerizing part. Okay, wow. Let's see what that is. Graceful.
But this was actually the Hindu goddess.
Dance. Continue to grant me. Yes, I don't know how to understand that in English.
me mystery.
Continue.
To offer
Consider.
me. To
Consider.
offer and yeah, to consider. Yeah.
Continue and grant me.
Yes, like continue to do what you are doing, to dance, and at the same time grant me.
Okay, maybe he misunderstood because he's saying continue to grant me.
Yeah, so you're already granting me and continue doing so.
Continue and then grant me.
Yes.
Why do you say he
Pardon?
didn't understand?
I don't know if you understood. I don't know what this expression continue to grant me. What does it mean
Mastery.
exactly in English?
He's saying continue to grant me the mastery, but Drukchen is saying continue what you are doing, like the dance, everything, and then grant me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
instead
what I
of
understand.
continue.
Continue to grant. What I understand of continue to grant is that Sarasvati is already granting Tsongkhapa
Yes.
this thing, and so he only asks Sarasvati to continue doing what she has been doing.
Yes.
But here in Tibetan, Tadong,
It doesn't imply that. Yeah.
Yes, on top of that, Tadong, on top of that, grant me. And grant me the mastery over mastery over speech, yeah. Mastery of speech. Mastery of speech. Or
But yeah. I mean, until now there was no request. It was just
until now, no. It was just a description of her.
So
yes, yeah. I think it follows this kind of pattern that we find in the sadhanas. You invite someone to your home who you want to receive something from, who has something that is valuable. Then you talk to him and say, you're something like that, you have this and that quality. And after you have finished that, you say, now I invited you here, so please give me something. Help me with this and that. It's like if I go to ask a language advisor, I said, I know that you are very qualified in this and that, so please help us with advising the students.
You better not exaggerate too much. Okay.
But that's the idea of a praise.
Yes,
it's like putting forth all the qualities.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
She's considered to be the consort of Manjushri.
Yes.
There's really this.
And then here again, the idea is that eyes are moving, just like a deer, a beautiful deer is moving around in the forest. Before we had the bees, and now it is the deer.
Deer-like.
Yes. But then in English, it looks like the person who is frolicking is Sarasvati herself.
Yes. Com os olhos de deer. Yeah, with the eyes
Yes.
of deer.
Yeah.
This word in English is not very Frolicking. What a very strange word.
Garginyan this. Process eyes that frolicking. Garginyan, frolicking here in Tibetan, it is that has the kind of movements of a dance that moves about like a dancer. Garginyan this playfully. Moving.
Yeah. I'm sorry, in the internet, one of the examples for frolicking to explain the meaning is he denied allegations that he frolicked with the secretary. It's not very poetic. Oh.
Dance, move like playful dance. Yeah, that sounds okay. You possess eyes that are like tears that move like a playful dance. So on the side of the meaning, my translation is okay, but it's not beautiful at all. So it's another challenge now to try to make something beautiful out of it. And yes, looking at the English also.
When you read Tibetan, do you feel the poetic?
Yeah. Actually, it's like, I don't remember who was saying that, but in the video that we were looking at, this poet was saying about Sanskrit poetry. He says, when you're reading a book or when you're reading a poetry, actually what it does is to bring the images of, like here, it would be a deer in the forest that is playfully moving around, eating a little bit grass here, going there, and then moving around like that. So that is the effect that Tibetan does on the reader, bringing these images. So there's this poetic effect, yes. And then the choice of the words also kind of help in this. Yeah, I think it's like in any language, the poetry and the choice of words, the way that sentences are built are very related one to each other.
Yes, no, yeah, but for instance, there are different types of poetry, and some poetry can be very dry without really being that kind of poetic that you feel in some other contexts, right?
Actually, what this does here is, because it's not full sentences, you feel like you have brought to some meaning that is very beautiful, and then you're left there. And then after, you have another scene that is also very beautiful, and that is not finished by a verb, by full stop. And you go from one scene to the next, to the next, to the next. At least that's I am able to see. Migitaves. Traumas. Migitavi mingams. Never. We never get satisfied. Satisfied of looking at you. All right. I don't know if I'm able to put in well in English, but here the idea, mingom, is that it's like when you're eating food, at some point you don't feel like eating anymore. Then we say you're satisfied. And so here what he's saying is that it's not, it's exactly the opposite.
Insatiable.
Yeah, insatiable, yes. Yeah. Eyes remain insatiable of looking at you. That could be. Yeah, in Trilingo, this is good. Yeah, it's the same as in Beautiful Lady or the one that captivates the minds is the same thing. Let's see what intraling to intral says, how it is defined in English. Capture the fascinated attention of. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah. Nou, je dat zonder tus.
Break now.
Yes. Break. And so here we have a very normal sentence that is put into verses, but it's kind of you kyugi mata tewa kyugi. Donc, you do something, and this something is to make two things equal. And the first thing is my voice, my speech, and so I think it is the power of my mastery over speech and the one of yourself, the goddess. And so here we are asking, please make it so that my mastery of speech and yours are the same. And then we are we are asking you who is as loving as a mother, please make it so that, etc. Yes, different color. Make so that make it so that my speech the mastery of the speech that my speech possesses is equal, similar to that of to your own goddess.
Goddess. Oh, acaba aí.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. It's
Não
at the
tem.
end. Yes.
Não
Yeah.
tem palavras e voz.
Ele
Ele pôs goddess of voice and words.
Yes, he put the goddess of voice and words, but there's nothing around it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because he wanted to have certain amount of syllables, certain amounts of syllables in his verse, and so he was forced to bring some new words. And then here, this Shamu, it's like to goddess yourself. to you who, to goddess yourself. Actually, it's like instead of saying you in order to show respect, then we are going to say Lama Ni, for example, or Rinpoche Ni, Rinpoche yourself. I'm not going to say you. I'm going to the Rinpoche that you are is going to do this, or I request the Rinpoche that you are to do that. And so here's the same thing that is happening, but with goddess Lamo. So the author didn't want to address to Sarasvati as you, but as the goddess that you are. Yeah, let me put that.
So there's no the idea. There's no blessing because you use the blessing.
Yeah.
And you've put the mastery because there's some idea of mastery there.
Not Wang here. Wang.
One.
And Wang is the power. And so Na is speech. Na Lunga Yisum. Body, speech, and mind. Lunga Yisum. So the mastery of speech, or the power of speech.
And but
we
why
can
do you
put
put master of the speech? That my speech. Why do you repeat my speech possesses or I?
Yeah, it's because you see that there's like the idea, the way that you conceive it is that it's like your CD that you're going to receive. So what Tsongkhapa wants to receive is the CD of powerful speech, of mastery of speech. So it's like if it is something, an object.
Yes.
And he wants to receive this master of speech on the top of his own speech. That's how they think of. And that's why they put it in this way. It's like in sadhanas, you say, may my body be blessed by your enlightened body, etc.
Yes.
So it's like you're receiving the blessing, or you're receiving the city of enlightened something on top of your own body, your own speech, and your own mind. And so here is exactly the same thing that's happening. He says, my speech, may you make it so that it becomes the same as the power of your own speech.
Yeah.
And literally, there's nowhere that you find blessings. It is just the idea of zhe, which is usually used for Tsongpa zhe. You can see that in many places where you're asking blessing for something. And and I think that it is a little bit also a kind of deformation of having read so many sadhanas that request the blessing of this and that he also brought that habits into the translation of this poem. But in Tibetan, there's no blessing. And yes, here you see Nagi Wangchu, the mastery over the power of speech. And so we have again Wang here, Wangchu, Wang, this mastery, which is the same as here. So it's the same idea. Okay. Tanda kebi pal le says. Yes, and also something to in order to kind of have ideas of how to render these sentences into something that might sound poetic, is what we have heard when we in the video that we were looking at with Dani. And so this guy was translating Sanskrit, and he was saying that the poetry in Sanskrit is trying to bring some feelings, some emotions. That's the objective. Whether it is fear, it's still an emotion that is brought, so it is poetic.
Mm-hmm.
And so here, like for example, here, more beautiful than the glory of the full autumn moon. It's like you're bringing the emotion of someone who is looking at the autumn moon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to make that come true. And so it's like, yeah, you present a scenery that you think that's going to have an effect. And then after you move on to another idea, another scenery, also another image, another landscape. More than trying to, as a whole, trying to make one effect on the mind, at least in this kind of poetry that we have here, it's clearly showing like one very beautiful picture, then showing another one very beautiful, and then another one, then another one. Mm-hmm. That looks like what he's doing. Okay, so here, you are much more superiorly beautiful than the glory of the full developed autumn moon. 천연연배 당경 silkiness. You subdue even the melodies. 천연연배 당경s, even the melodious melodies. Melodious, yeah.
It's a quote.
Yes, I need to find a synonym. Because in Tibetan you have nyembe, dang. Nyemba is one word, dang is another word.
You can leave it there. We
Now let me find a synonym.
Harmonious.
Harmonious is, yeah. Let me see.
Even the you
Yes.
subdue. It's not melodious. Yes. You subdue even the
melodious melodies of Brahma. Melodic, musical.
No. Okay, it's going beyond. Yeah.
Phonic, harmonious. Yeah, harmonious can be, yeah. Okay, tuneful.
But it's really subdue because it's the idea.
Yeah, it is subdue. Yeah, it's like
because the idea of the English is that she can go beyond.
Outshining.
In beauty and in whatever the melodies of Brahma. So
no,
it's not like the same as subdue.
No. But here, I think what could be an idea is like there's a competition between Brahma and Sarasvati. And it becomes obvious that Sarasvati is that Brahma is no match for her. So in this kind of situation, we will say that Sarasvati is subduing Brahma. Because her quality, what she produces, is so much more than it can only kind of, it makes, yeah, it's like subduing an animal. You make it that it doesn't have any power against you anymore.
Yes, but yeah, but we have to
so
find
that's the idea. Yes.
A sentence where we can,
Yes.
a word that can fit the idea.
Yes. And outshining is obviously an attempt to kind of not bring the negative aspect of subduing.
Yes, that's the problem.
Because it's kind of making more qualitative, bringing more quality than the other. So outshining is, I think, doesn't have a negative a connotation, whereas subduing does have.
Yes, that's the problem. And also the question of you are expecting, if you use subduing, you expect something negative and not melodious again, not melodious. You subdue something which is not melodious. You expect the
yes, but in the context of a competition of melodiousness, then you can it's like when you're a competition, you try to overcome your competitors. You try to be
I know.
Bring them outside.
Yes, no. Yeah. No. The problem
the
is
image.
that the problem is that we read even, and that's the problem. Yeah, it's with the even. Okay.
Yeah. Subdue, yeah. So it's actually in Tibetan here, it doesn't seem like something that is not nice. It does not have a negative connotation.
No, Drupshan, the problem here with the idea was just because in English you've put even. That's what I'm saying. It makes that effect. But if we take the even and in Portuguese or it's okay.
Yeah, it's because it's like
you can beat someone in a competition and they are both doing the same thing. Okay.
No, it's like when here the reason why there's this even is because imagining that she's like in a competition, we're comparing all of them.
Yes.
And then you say, of course, all the others, of course, but even Brahma, which is renowned to be the most
must be there to have this comparison. You have to have the even there. It's just the subdue that you can find a different word instead of subjuga in Portuguese. A word that's positive, as Drupshan was saying, but even must be there for the context of this sentence. You cannot take out.
The problem, you know, when I read the English, the first thing, the first effect was that if you were subduing even, my mind went directly to the idea of that must be some negative after this.
But it's because
now it's okay. We can do it with the idea of
something positive,
of something that is in competition.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the kind of, how do you say?
In English, could be surpass. So
that's
surpass would be positive.
That's what he's saying in English. Outshining.
Outshining.
It's going beyond.
Yeah.
It's like another context where we find also Zilginon is the light of the sun, or the sun kind of suppresses and subdues all the other lights, make them completely insignificant. And it's not negative, it's just the fact that when you have the light of the sun, you put a candle, it doesn't have any effect. So here's the same thing. When you hear Sarasvati's voice, then all the other melodies are completely suppressed. They're completely kind of made irrelevant, inexistent. So it's really to show the superiority of Sarasvati, not saying that she's outshining something, that she's making herself better than, but it's just like there's no way of getting any better than her, because that's just a natural effect. Okay, so let me separate in words. 당경 실기는. Sabyang Gyatsu Jingder Pakawas. Yeah. More difficult to fathom than the depths of the vast ocean. Sabyang. Yeah. More difficult to evaluate. Yeah, fathom is good also. And then Jingder Pakawas. So those that are difficult to evaluate for them. Like the depth of the profound and wide and vast ocean. Yeah, so here he changed from this metaphor of saying something is like something to it is more difficult than something else. So it changed the figure de estilo. Jingder Pakawa Yangjian Lame Gu Song Tu La Dus.
Why do you put 2000? Because like the 2000, because
Yes, because it is reference to the body, speech, and mind that comes later on.
Okay.
So yeah, it is a single sentence. Let me try to fit it in a single sentence. I think that will make it better. So yes, I bow down
Kusum, body, speech, and mind.
yes, kusong tu. Ku is actually the honorific of body, lu. Song is the honorific of nga, and tu is the honorific of ning. Yes, mind. You have tuk jeche. Tuk is this honorific mind. Yes, and actually, I didn't read the colophon before, but it says, having invited the goddess Sarasvati in such a way, praise and supplicate her. And then this was composed by the poet of Northern Lands, the glorious Lobsang Drakpa. Yes. So there is this idea of inviting and then making praise, just like in the second mantra. Seems that I have made a mistake in the translation here. It's lightnings. What I meant to say is the light that comes down during a storm.
Os raios.
Raios.
os raios.
Yes.
Yeah, I have understanding.
Yes, but in English, lighting does not
Lighting,
mean
yeah,
that.
no.
It's just the lights.
It's just the lighting.
Mm.
Lighting.
Yeah.
But is so in
Lightning.
Tibetan is lighting, not
In
lightning.
Tibetan is Raios.
Raios.
Yes.
Okay.
São raios, então, ok.
But I don't find the word in English.
Actually, I thought it was lightning.
Yeah, and that's what I thought
No.
also. I'm looking here, and
No.
it doesn't seem to be that.
Don't let me put here in the dictionary. Lightning, beam, lightning. It's like
Light beams.
not raio, relâmpago. Espera, mas o relâmpago não é. Não, pois, é porque o relâmpago não é raio. O relâmpago é só luz. Enquanto o raio, eu acho que ela aqui se calhar é mais relâmpago, não é?
É, relâmpago.
Ou
Sim,
achas
sim,
que
relâmpago.
é raio? É mais relâmpago. E
O que é relâmpago? Relâmpago é só luz?
Relâmpago é quando as nuvens fazem aquela coisa e é só luz.
Luz em todos os lados. Não, aqui é
Sim.
realmente os
E depois é
raios.
que às vezes sai o raio.
É o raio mesmo aqui.
Aqui é raio. Então, raio pode ser lightning, TN. Lightning. Vou corrigir o inglês dele. Era assim, lightning, com N. Ou pode ser, eles também têm
The noun
os
lightning.
beam, também rays or beam.
Lightning refers to the flash of light that precedes thunder.
Yes.
Lightning. Lightening com E. Yeah, the present participle of the verb lighten. Lightning.
E ainda há o thunderbolt. Está aqui nunca. Bolt of lightning, bolt of lightning. But it can be lightning. Okay.
Lightning, bolt of lightning, aqui no dicionário.
Yes, but just lightning, it's okay. I mean.
Yes, yeah. So that's how we have to write it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yes. Lightning. Okay. But I think that he really meant lighting, because otherwise he would have said lightings. I think lighting is understood like a light. So I think that's how he wanted to use it. He kept it in singular.
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, because he used latticed, and latticed is like many different things. So there's a lot of them. Lattice with lightning. I don't know. Lightning.
Anyway, this is the type of word that an error can occur.
Yes. Yeah, but since both are possibilities,
yeah,
either we ask to the translator himself, or we'll stay in
yes,
kind of not knowing.
Not knowing, yeah.
But in Tibetan, it's clear. It's lightning. Lightning of bolts of lightning. Yeah, so I have 3 minutes left. So in short, Santiago, what we have done is to take this praise to Sarasvati, written by
Cool.
Tsongkhapa, Lobsang Drakpa, and we have kept the English translation, which managed to bring about some of the poetry, some of the poetic effects. And then I have written a literal version in Tibetan of the Tibetan. Yes.
And then they're taking both of those and translating into
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
And so you will see that you'll have the impression when you start translate that you're being cluttered with the images on top of an image, on top of something, etc. And I think the way to take it is, like I was saying, to imagine that we are talking about Sarasvati, and then you say you take one aspect of her, one part of her body, and then you give a beautiful picture, like a beautiful landscape, or and then you say it is like this, and then you keep that away, and you take another beautiful pictures, and then you move it away and take another beautiful picture, and so you kind of multiply these
I see
beautiful images.
Okay.
Yeah. So more than the kind of the logic relations between sentences and images, etc., I think what is going to give this poetic effect, or at least that's what I feel in Tibetan, is the fact that you are presented with one beautiful picture that stays for some time. And then there's not really, you'll see in the video, if you look again, there's not really a sentence, just the saying like your eyes are like this and that, very beautiful. And then you stay with that picture. And then you move on to another picture that's also very beautiful. Then you keep being shown very beautiful pictures one after the other. And then the fact that none of them is ending with a verb or in like a full stop makes you stay in this kind of context.
In the like seeing a presentation, just going like
Yes, yeah.
Nice.
And yes, yeah. And so try to bring that up.
Right.
That's what
from my side, I created first a document remembering all the things like you said, all of the big things and all that, and then I worked on the translation. We'll see what happens. The last one, she was really kind and everything, but she really just slaughtered my writing. So, so we'll see what happens next time. I really worked on it now.
And you were brave.
Actually,
a brave
this is
Mexican.
This is something that Naima told, and I think it's completely right. It's when you're trying to write nicely, when you're trying to make something well written, you write and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite.
It's crazy, yeah. Right now, I was rereading what I a few days ago thought was fine. It's like, what was I like drinking, or what was I doing?
Yes. And so she may tell you to rewrite everything again and slaughter, but it's normal. It's not that she really needs.
I think you never reach a point that at the first or second time you make it right. Never.
Yeah. And it was really good. And she had a lot of good points too. I've been trying them out, like kind of like things with commas, things with points. So it's good. It's good. We'll see.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so now it's already time for the prayer. Let me